Hey, Nicole Huntsman here from moderncosmic.com. We have got our sun sign compatibility here on this video. Cancer Sun. So Cancer, these are our folks born from June 21st through July 22nd. Cancer is traditionally the crab. That's the animal that we've used as the symbol for Cancer. I like to think of a turtle. I think a turtle is a more apt symbol because with the turtle, yes, the Cancer does have a little bit of a crunchy outer shell, right? And they like to pull themselves in when it's time to withdraw if they're in a situation where they feel threatened. But ultimately, it's also because they kind of carry their home around on their back. Cancer types are nostalgic. They have a hard time getting rid of things, whether it's things, objects, or old lovers or old friends. They hold on to the people or the things or the thoughts, even the values that they consider important and that they have placed high on their, ladder of personal values or people that have made an impact on their heart. So with Cancer, you've got an individual who's interested in security. That's why they, with objects or money, they're good savers. A lot of times it's because they're trying to create this safe space in their life, all right? It's their womb. We associate Cancer with the home. We associate Cancer with, it's more of an introverted expression. Okay, so Cancers, a lot of times, if you had a pure Cancer, this is someone very sensitive and they are intuitive about where someone else is at emotionally, and they won't necessarily say anything. A lot of times they'll just see you and they'll notice you, and perhaps they're like sponges. They'll take things in, they'll take information in without you really maybe even knowing that they're taking it in, and then it will come back out later. They'll see you sort of repeat a pattern and they'll see, oh, okay, this person's experiencing this, and they'll come give you a hug, or they will touch you, or they will offer to make you a meal, or this is a Cancer thing. They're really sensitive to noticing these patterns in other people's emotional behavior. On the high side with Cancer, we've got someone who is sensitive to others. We've got someone who does have a strong ambition. Their desire to create security feeds their drive. It feeds their career ambitions many times. You've got someone warm and affectionate. They have a nostalgic kind of nature to them. They can be sentimental in a way, so it depends on, of course, the entire chart, but a lot of times Cancers, they're pack rats in a way, whether it's that they collect a certain okay, so for example, my mom, she's a gardener, and she plants anywhere she's lived, that she's always had these beautiful flowers and whatnot, and she kind of collects plants. She collects them and puts them around her, and makes this little plant home, and then she of course takes care of them. That's very Cancer, that hobby of hers. And then my boyfriend, for example, when he travels a lot for work. He'll keep his flight. His flight tickets or his receipts, and he'll use them in his books as little bookmarkers, and they're little mementos to remind him of the trip, and they're also something he's keeping physically around him. So that's kind of Cancer high side, but they're little pack rats in a way. But there's a nostalgic quality or sentimental nature to it. They also are really great at, as I said earlier, recognizing needs. They have this mothering instinct, this desire to make you feel better and to give you love and to take care of you. And in particular, if you're sick or if you're, just sad, emotionally having a hard time, that really pains them. They want to make you feel better. On the low side with the Cancer, they can be, because they're, like I said, there's this introverted expression of their life force. They can sometimes appear to be aloof or cold or standoffish. And they kind of are. Remember, like the crab with his little shell and his pinchers, he's like, ah. But really, a crab on the inside is mush, right? So they're protecting. They sometimes will stand back and sort of hang back, see if they're safe and secure in a situation, and then they'll interject themselves. So they have there's an introversion there of their self-expression. They can sometimes withdraw from conflict. A lot of the water signs, when there is heavy-duty fighting or a conversation that needs to happen that's not a comfortable conversation, water signs can sometimes withdraw. They check out, they back off, and they move away from the fight. Even if you have someone that's quite aggressive in other ways, they can sometimes, when their personal values are crossed, you know, like in work and things like this, they can sometimes pull back and be a little passive aggressive. So that's something that Cancers, you know, are known for. And it's almost because it's like they don't want to be hurt also, of course, but it's also they pull back from the fight a little bit, and then they have to kind of regather themselves, and then many times they'll come back. In a relationship with a Cancer, you just have to, if sometimes they do just need that time too where they're introverted and they're doing their own thing. So just let them do it, and they'll come back out. They'll turtle their heads back out. Also, they can be a little bit slow to open up. It also goes with the need for security. They can be moody, they can be broody like a broodmare, you know, kind of goes along with the motherly aspect. They have times in their life where they need to introvert, pull back, and just, you know, be to themselves so they can process things. And just let them do it, they'll come back out. So, Cancer in love. Now, Cancer is our zodiac sign that is sort of the most in flux. It's ruled by the moon, and our moon is constantly changing in our sky every couple of hours even, right? It's moving, and I mean, it's changing every second. It's moving to some degree every second. So Cancer is the same. Cancer, and because also think of the moon, how we can see one side of the moon and the other side is in total darkness. This is like the Cancer's emotional nature in a sense. There's a polarity there. There's an up and down nature to it. There are times when the Cancer just really needs to, as I said earlier, they need to be inside of themselves, okay? Now, a Cancer with a really good partner, a good partner would be someone that recognizes that and protects that in the Cancer. And my boyfriend, who's Cancer, has a quote that I love, and I'm gonna ruin it, but it's something about when you love someone, it's your job, it's your duty to protect the solitude of the partner. And that is the perfect quote for a Cancer to hold as their ideal quote about what ideal love looks like. It's your job to protect your partner's space and their feelings, and also it's your job to provide them with a little womb where they can truly open up and emotionally give you what they have to give and receive what you have to give to them. They are very deep people, and their ability to love can be overwhelming. Even for, or I should say astounding is a better word. It can be astounding because it's really strong and deep, like the ocean, which is one of Cancer's rulerships. So Cancers, their expectations in love. Cancers are interesting. So while they have that introversion need, they also really enjoy having their partner physically around them. Whether they're kind of at home or just like running errands, they like being with their partner. There is a comfort there to having that other person physically close to them. It's a grounding kind of a comfort, and it's home. It's like they're home. So at home, obviously, being with you, but then also just going out and doing things together. That's something they enjoy, because it's like taking their little home with them. Remember, they're sentimental. They like to hold on to things. And so if you're their partner that they love, then they'll want to like be with you. They'll want to have you with them. Okay. All right. Edit. So safety and security is also really important to the Cancer. They expect their partner to be loyal and to be devoted to them. And it's interesting, jealousy from a Cancer is different than you'd see from perhaps an Aries or like a fire sign like a Leo. Jealousy in all the signs is different. That would actually be a good video. That'd be an interesting video series. Jealousy in a Cancer, it comes more from hurt feelings. It's more like, I gave you all of this. I gave you all of me, and now I feel like you took advantage of that and have been focusing your directions elsewhere, you know. So they want to feel like it's safe for them to love you, and it's safe for them to accept your love in return, and that you're not going to hurt them once you're inside their little soft, mushy, you know, places. Cancer's biggest fear, you know, Cancer, they're moody, they're emotionally deep, and they sometimes go to dark places. It's really common for Cancer Suns even, you know, Cancer mood even more so. There's an emotional depth there. This is the part of them that's vulnerable, and it's the part that they may worry may be unlovable, okay? That it's too much for someone else to have to deal with, or that they're not sure they just even want you to be in there because it just feels vulnerable and scary and like they're exposed. So their fear is that that's ultimately unlovable. If course, it's completely incorrect. You know, we're all lovable. So with your Cancer, just be tender with them and make sure that they know that you appreciate the things that they do for you, and that you show them in return through your actions that you love them. Okay. Libra Sun signs are people born between September 23rd and October 22nd. Libra is a Venusian zodiac sign, meaning it's ruled by the planet Venus, the planet that for us symbolizes love and beauty and harmony. Okay, it's harmonizing socially and harmonizing aesthetically, this type of thing. These are the pleasures of life. Now, even if you listen to the sounds, if you've ever had a chance to listen to the NASA sounds of the planets, pretty cool. Like the Venusian, you hear, they took the, I believe it was the electromagnetic spectrum that's around Venus, or that's whatever it's giving off, and they turned it into audible sound waves. And Venus has this beautiful, haunting sound. Almost like a siren, or, a mermaid. It's really beautiful. And Saturn has this really spooky, I'll have to post some videos on this. But at any rate, okay, so back to Libra. So with Libra, we've got, not only do we have the zodiac sign that's ruled by Venus, the planet has to do with harmonizing, you've also got the zodiac sign that falls right in the middle of our zodiac of 12 signs. You've got Libra's the 7th sign. So after you've moved through the first 6, which have to do a lot with personal development, you then move into 7 through 12, so Libra all the way through Pisces. These signs have to do with more so with our relating and the sort of energy, this back and forth with these people and the world around us, the wisdom of the world around us. And it starts with this Libran energy. Libra is the partnership, it's the harmonizing. The sign is, the scales, which is fine. I mean, all the air signs are the only zodiac signs that have a human being in each of the, as part of the symbolism, okay? So Libra is this air sign that of all the air signs is the most sort of, it's right in the middle. It's this neutral, I would say even of all of the zodiac signs, there's a neutrality to Libra. And many times when you see Libra placed on the different planets besides the sun, it's hard to see how it's expressed. It can be overwritten by other zodiac signs that are perhaps stronger. It's like this neutralizing energy that can kind of make everything come together and compromise. It's like the Benjamin Franklin of the zodiac in a way. Okay, but as far as love goes, this makes Librans are natural peacemakers. They don't really like to fight. It's not that they mind conflict so far, or it's not so much that they mind conflict. It's that they want to quickly get to a place of harmony and fairness. They want to have things return to a place of equanimity, balance, where everyone feels like their needs are being taken care of, okay, and no one's being cheated. That's Libras don't like to see things, people being screwed. That brings out their opposite energy, which would be the Aryan side. That's all of us. All of our zodiac signs, our sun signs, hold the polar as well. So that will bring out that desire to fight in a Libra, okay? So with a high-functioning Libra, you've got someone who is diplomatic. They are a harmonizer. My kids' personal experience, or personal story, share this. I've got an Aries boy, a Taurus female, a Scorpio female, and a Libra female, okay? My kids, my son and daughters. My Libra daughter, the youngest, has always been this sweetie. She's like the one that is just like easy and sweet, and on the surface socially has great social manners, even as a pretty little dancer, knows how to pose for pictures. Libra just has this Venusian quality. They've got this beauty to them, or this grace. And even if you've got I know plenty of Libras that aren't physically beautiful per se, but then they've also got this, they'll have this nature to them where they're good at harmonizing, whether it's in conversation or debate. They can sit and have a debate with you, but they can do it in such a way that you feel like you're not sure if you're laughing half the time, or are we debating, or there's a sociability and a harmonizing nature to Libra. Now, Libras also, you've got someone artistic, ruled by Venus, artistic in a different way, different from, like, let's say a Taurus, which is also a Venusian zodiac sign. Libra is going to be artistic. It's going to start with an idea. It's going to start with an idea that is in their head, and many times Libras like conceptual art, or if they were to be someone that liked graphic T-shirts, they would prefer ones that had words on them that conveyed a message, like quotes and things like that. That's Libran. Libras love to read. They love to learn. They are trying to find the common ground in the world. So reading is something that many times is enjoyable for them. There is an androgyny to Libra, which is really interesting. Libran females many times feel, in my mind, all the Libran females that I know, they'll have an external thing that's, you know, feminine. That whether they're beautiful or not, there's a femininity to the way that they express externally. But then you get to know them and they're quite masculine. There can be a logical nature to the way that they think. They can even be detached in certain situations. They can have this impartiality to them where they'll look at the situation from a place of ration rather than a place of emotion. And that can be confusing to people because it's different than the way that they sort of appear on the outside. They call Librans, they say they're the iron fist in the velvet glove, and that's true. Librans, it's because of the coolness and the air that's in them. They can detach themselves from outcome. And so this makes them good, like negotiators, good counselors. They're good at getting two people to kind of come together and agree with one another and like, let's make this work. In my house, when I have the three older kids fighting with each other, it's my fourth, my youngest one, that goes and sits and is reading a book quietly. And it's like, guys, you need to be quiet. You're being really rude. Like, stop fighting. You know, that's a Libra. And so they're uncomfortable with situations where it's when it's irrational, when it's fighting. It's like, this makes no sense. Why are you fighting over this? This is stupid. That's Libra. Okay. And then the Libra men, they have a more of a feminine quality. I was married to a Libra man, a wonderful man, married to him for 13 years. Has always been, he's a good gift giver. And always, whenever he bought me a pair of shoes or boots, those were the things that all my girlfriends would be like, those are so cute. Where'd you get those? You know, and like, Travis got them for me, you know, of course, you know. And so with Libra men, they'll have many times this pleasant, if they're not straight up attractive, which is very common again for Libras and Venus types, they are charming. They're charming and they have this little smile to them and this great conversational energy. They love to talk and see what you think about things and they want to find out about you. And, you know, they can be a little vain. Libra men are known for that. Libra females too, both. They can be a little bit vain and don't enjoy getting older, but they'll fight it tooth and nail. But, you know, for the most part, Librans are, there's a diplomacy, a sweetness, and a kindness there, and they're great lovers. They're great at relationship. They want to find common ground and make things fair. Okay, so with a low-functioning Libra, we've got someone who can be a little too vain. I think they're a little shallow at times, and in their relationships even. Look at that moon. That's really important to take a peek at. Librans, hopefully, if they've got a nice earthy or watery moon or a moon that's in an earth or a watery house, it's going to give them more depth to their emotions. But they can be truly detached, and even in their romantic relationships, they can be in love with the idea of the relationship and, you know, the surface interaction with this other person, but perhaps lacking a deeper connection and maybe even having a fantasy life in their head of this ideal lover, sort of like a Virgo in a way, but different. And taking pleasure in that place that's not even real. It's the idea of what love is rather than the actual partner. They can do that. They can be indecisive. That's many times because they're in the middle. The thought is, you know, that they're weighing all options and they're taking in many options instead of like, okay, let's take action now and move forward. I'm a Libra. I don't necessarily think that that's true. I think that, but I do have an Aries moon, so that's why that makes me, I can't stand indecision actually. But with a Libra, it's like they don't want to step on toes as well. So sometimes they feel when it's like making a decision, it takes them a second because like, if I do that, that might bother this person, or if I do that, you know, it might not be what I want. So they can be indecisive. They can also overly intellectualize their emotions. They can feel sad and not want to feel sad. And so then they'll, you know, want to talk about it and discuss it perhaps. But they will want to make it make sense, and they'll want to talk it away. They'll want to rationalize it. They won't really appreciate being seen as someone who is emo or having a moment where they're trapped or swept up in their emotions. That's not a place a Libra really likes to be. That's a place of extreme, right? The Libra wants to be kind of in the middle where they've got it all balanced and they're grounded. It's also, to me, the inner marriage, okay, between the masculine and the feminine is a strong sort of thing to think of when you think of a Libra. That's why you've got the androgyny between the male and female Libras. There's a strong sense of masculine and feminine. They have, if it's a female, she's got a strong anima, masculine part to her, and if it's a male, he's going to have a strong I'm sorry, I just said that backwards. Female would be animus and male would be anima. My bad. So, but their inner masculine and feminine will be healthy and strong. So Libra's in love. Libra in love, this is the sign that rules relationship. Traditionally, it's the seventh house, it's partnership. To me, what's interesting is the seventh house is not a house that is like a smoldering, passionate house. It's a house of compromise and relating and finding harmony and finding balance. And these things are all quite rational and logical and make sense, okay? So Libra in love, first and foremost, they really do want to have a relationship that's peaceful and harmonious and pleasurable. If this is not enjoyable, why are we doing it? That doesn't make any sense to a Libra. If it's not enjoyable, I'm not going to do this anymore. This doesn't work for me. There is, again, that being in love with love. So searching for that elusive true love, and then having to settle with one partner can be difficult for an Aries, as it can be for many of the air signs, just because there's this high degree of sort of overthinking things. And with an Aries, a Libra, they're wanting that ideal thing they have in their head that may not be real. So Libra's expectations in love, again, they have this ideal of what they think partnership should be. They're looking for happiness in love. That is a primary driver of a Libra, would be relationship. Even if you've got a Libra, like John Mayer, for example, he's a Libra, and he's got some really interesting things in his birth chart. But at any rate, he's a great example of a Libra man who is like always in a relationship, but like always in a relationship, like lots of different relationships, right? So it's this, what's that called? The serial monogamist thing can be happening with a Libra. And also, I know he had that issue with pornography that he talked about, and that is the projection of the feminine, the projection of his very strong anima onto these women and objectifying. It's like he's making love to all these nymphs and making love to the divine feminine. That's pornography. So that can happen with Libra. I'm not saying the Librans are porn addicts or anything like that, but what I'm saying is there is this ideal of what the ideal masculine is and what the ideal feminine is. And so the Libra can sometimes just never be satisfied because you will never find someone who embodies all of those traits and characteristics in one entity. So that can be tricky. Just do your best as a partner of a Libra to keep things harmonious and fun. And they need new things to talk about. They love art, they love music. Librans love cultural experiences, museums, history, take them to see things. And they love food, restaurants, nice things. This is a Venusian sign, so they're going to appreciate the finer things in life, but they're quite refined. It's not typically a gaudy appreciation of material objects. It's more the refined appreciation, like a nice painting or a book, an antique book or something like that would be something a Libra would appreciate having in their life. And also these grand gestures, these expressions of romance. A Libra would love if you wrote them a love letter, if you put your thoughts into words or music or songs with lyrics that are meaningful. That's a Libra would appreciate that. So Libra's biggest fear, and I say this as a Libra, twofold. It's quite interesting to be seen as ugly, and this is not just physically ugly. This is ugly in all way, shape, and form, and to be seen as someone who's not intelligent. To them, that would be sort of the same thing. That would be being intellectually crude. So Libras appreciate harmony and beauty, and they want to be seen as harmonious and beautiful in all ways, not just physically or the way that they relate to you personally, but that just as a human being, they want to be seen as a refined version of what it means to be human. And they're Renaissance people. Libras are known because they're in the middle of the zodiac again. They have their feelers kind of in everything. They can relate to all different types of people because they're sort of that neutral energy in the middle. So they're also interested in a lot of different things, and they have a lot of disparate interests. So they feel sometimes just like a Gemini, that same sense of maybe I'm not that deep because I have all these diversive interests instead of being epistemic with something. I'm curious about all these things instead of just one thing. And just let the Libra know that they're okay and they're just great the way that they are, and encourage their many interests because it's not going to change. It's just how they're built. And talk to them, have conversation with them about them, and give your Libra a painting. They'll love that. All right, Cancer and Libra. So I know this one well. I am a Libra myself, and I am dating a Cancer, very lovely Cancer man. So I know this pretty well. And traditionally, we would say that Libra and Cancer square each other, the zodiac signs. So we would say, oh, these two aren't compatible with one another. But what's interesting to me about the modalities of the signs, if signs are in the same modality, this means they share characteristics. So with the cardinal zodiac signs, these are all about starting new things, okay? All of the cardinal signs are on the angular houses, and they have to do with the outer world. Even Cancer, even though Cancer's, at the bottom of the chart, it has to do with the family and the home and the parents. So this is outside the world of the child. Now, the way these two come together, in my mind, you've got two personality types that are people pleasers to a certain extent. Libra more so than Cancer, I would suspect. Libra is more socially interested in harmony and keeping the peace and reducing conflict, and Cancer is interested in people's feelings, okay, like genuinely the emotional climate of a relationship or of an environment with other people. So these go together well. They appreciate in one another the compassion, consideration, and caring for other people's needs. Okay, so that's going to be attractive initially. Now. As far as what will long-term, kind of what they will carry into their long-term interaction. Issues you can run into, this will continue. They have this, because they are both sort of this, they like non-conflict. They like peace, both of these personality types. They can sometimes not bring things up that need to be brought up. And when they finally do come up, they will come up as sort of a fight or even just an emotional skirmish of some kind. Things will kind of bubble up to the surface and then finally come out. Both Libra and Cancer, though, if they can sit and talk things out, they both are relationship-centric, oriented, so they're both willing to work through things. Cancer comes from a place of wanting to understand the partner and wanting to be understood emotionally, in both directions, and is willing to do what needs to be done to make the partner comfortable and feel safe. Cancer is really good at making people feel safe. Libra, on the other hand, is fair, and Libra wants to talk about things and have things make sense for everybody, have them be equally, have everyone's needs being heard equally, okay, and have everyone's concerns addressed. So Cancer, although Cancer's more emotional, what Cancer does in conflict many times is withdraw. They pull inside of themselves. They'll even try and flee the scene, kind of a thing. And Libras can too. I mean, I suppose anyone can. But Libras, because they don't like conflict, they also are sort of similar. But a Libra is more apt to want to talk it out and keep it logical and rational and figure it out and fix it. So conflict with these two, big conflict is going to be the way that they approach conflict. So when Cancer emotionally feels threatened or sad or worried, they do withdraw. They do pull back into themselves, and sometimes they will completely disengage from situation. And this is even with work or with with anything. That's their natural. They turtle. They pull inside of themselves where they know that it's safe. Cancer's broody. Libra is apt to make things too much in the head, too cerebral, okay, too airy for the Cancer at times. And of course, you need to look at the moons to see what happens, especially with squaring zodiac signs. Look at the moons to see if those are compatible. But for the most part, you've got Libra wanting things to be harmonious and good, and Cancer wanting things to feel secure and safe, and so they get along well. It's a affectionate combination. How others might see this couple, they may not see them much. Cancers love to be home. Libras are a little bit lazy. Even though Libras are social, I'm speaking for myself, and this is totally from my own experience with a Cancer relationship, and I've had Cancer friends, and just like my experience with Cancer. There's just let's stay home and make a good meal together and watch TV and stay in bed or work on your computer and hang out together and listen to music, and just there's definitely this sense of this coming home after a long busy week and wanting to just spend time together. So others will probably see you as recluses in a sense. You may not go out much. And this is of course mitigated if you've got, my boyfriend, I have to say, he's got a Capricorn moon, and I'm just easygoing, I'll do whatever. So this is us, I suppose. But, Cancer is known for being a homebody, so it's likely that you're seeing the same thing with other Cancer-Libra combinations. So let me know. I'd love to hear. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye.